the media's influence on the sexual behavior of today's West African youth. Would you believe that we went on the street trying to get some youth to discuss this topic, but they all were shying away? In fact, some of them even made an appointment with us, but they dodged, if you more or less. I mean, they never showed up again. And we're wondering, what is really wrong? Why are our youth unable to discuss this openly? And so today, by the grace of God, we got one of our young men, and he's here in the studio to talk with us. And so we'd like to encourage you to join in the discussion. Give us a call on 02737-1619 and give us an input in this interesting topic. Well, I want to just hang around. We will be coming back shortly. I'll introduce my guest, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy him.
Timaya. Papa God.
Well, I'm sure you know who sang this song, and anyhow, enjoy. Well, this morning we're going to be talking about the media influence on the sexual behavior of today's West African youth here in Amsterdam. I have for a guest this morning very young, dynamic man, Mr. Prince Adolfo. We're just, trying to catch back on some few years back when he was a teenager. He's in his 20s, and he's a second-year university law student at the Amsterdam University.
Yes.
He's a very dynamic and active young man, both in social and religious circles. So he's going to be our guest as we get into this topic. Welcome, Prince.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for receiving me.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Well, by way of introduction, let me say that every now and then we are confronted with certain behavioral patterns in the life of our young people. And as they grow into adulthood, they are exposed to so much that they don't always have the right judgment on sexual matters. Not just that, as parents and guardians, we are tasked with guiding the proper development of our young people. Given that there are a myriad of influences these days, especially from today's media, we would like to examine the issue of how the media is influencing their sexual conduct, and also the risks they face constantly regarding contracting sexually transmitted diseases. Now, also, we have discovered, like I just said, a certain strange and curious habit and attitude among our young people. There appears to be a strong taboo, which makes them so shy and almost afraid to discuss matters pertaining to their sexual well-being and their sexuality. From available statistics, many youth are contracting sexually transmitted diseases, STIs, and at an eyebrow raising rate, or at an alarming rate. This has come up through various specialists who have been guests on Radio Voice of Nigeria programs this year. Hence, our quest to find out how the media, that is television, music, radio, and print, are influencing, directly or indirectly, the sexual discretionary behavior of our youth. So this is where we are today. Now, my first question to Prince is this. Do you think the media has any influence on the sexual awareness and development of West African youth living in Amsterdam? Do you think so?
Yes, the answer is of course, for sure. They do have influence. I think the question more, to be answered is how far that influence goes. because the fact that influence they have, but how far the influence
there is influence, that's for sure.
there is influence for sure, but how far the influence goes is something that many people are, I say, particularly among the youth, they are not sure of how far that influence goes, because many youth, if you ask them concerning the influence on the media on their sexual behavior, they will deny. They will tell you, oh, I'm my own man, I make my own decision, I'm a big young girl, I don't need the media to tell me what to do. Yeah, so they themselves think that it doesn't have influence on them, but it does. And as a matter of fact, the influence even go far, because it influences them unconsciously. Unconsciously. Yes, they pick up things that they are not aware that they are picking. You know those images, and that's actually what makes it even more like disturbing. You know, the influence of the media on the youth, because the youth think the media is not influencing them, and the media is influencing them, and they don't even know it's influencing them.
Wow, it's serious. Eh?
Yeah.
It's like using a back door to enter somebody's house.
Yes.
So media is using a back door to affect our youth directly.
Yes, that.
Or
Let me give
indirectly.
you a simple example. You know, I think almost for the past 2 or 3 years, anytime I pick this newspaper, Spitz, which is free, which is actually meant for students to get into the news. I'm always surprised that at the bottom of the page, you always find sex advert with sex telephone numbers. And so you can imagine that's Monday morning, I just read my newspaper, I'm just going through it, and unconsciously I'm picking sexual images at Monday morning. So anytime I'm reading the news, I'm also actually reading sex news.
About sex advertisement.
Yes.
In other words, the media is suggesting to you, why don't you try this?
Why don't you try this? Because it's an advert, and the whole point is to get you to do it. Otherwise, they will not put it inside.
Right.
But I may say, oh, it doesn't influence me because I'm only reading the newspaper. But it does influence me unconsciously.
Okay, but for now, you know, put aside your cap as a religious young man. Don't you think you are being biased about against the media, you know, in this sense? You don't think the media is free to put whatever they want to out there? Oh,
they can, but they shouldn't deny what they are putting out there. Because if you are, listen, if you are advertising sex, then make it clear that you are advertising sex. But don't tell, oh, we are not advertising anything. The youth know what they want. We are just, you know, giving demand to the question. No, this is putting forth a demand that many people naturally cannot resist.
Oh, wow.
That's what it is.
So it's a subtle way of suggesting to our young men, you know, sexual, I mean, like giving sexual cues to them. You know, okay, if you can buy a BlackBerry, you can also try this one. You can also buy sex.
You can also try this one,
Wow.
Is that what it means, really?
It's what it means, because as young people, you know, we are always into discovering things. And the media is aware of that young people love to discover things. And actually, it's one of the points we get later on into. And the thing that the media is doing, that they are exploiting this this urges to discover things. And what they are doing is that they have made it so sexual that all the other discoveries that needs to be done doesn't get their attention anymore.
Get back to that point, repeat that again.
Yes.
I said they have put the focus so much on sex that all the other discoveries that needs to be done is not being done.
Discoveries like what? What kind of discovery?
Discoveries like knowing how actually women think.
Okay.
It's just because I was once speaking in my, let's say, religious setting. I had a group of young girls and young boys, and we're talking about the issue of rape. How men can lose their control, and that they actually love a woman, but because they lost their control, they will end up violating her. And I gave 2 examples. Yes, I gave 2 examples, from the Bible, from in the book of Genesis, how a young man raped a woman, but he was very friendly to her, and he spoke kindly to her. And then there's another example in the book of 2 Samuel of a young man who raped a young man and was very unfriendly to her afterwards. And the young woman wow. The first guy is very romantic. And all the boys were like, how can you call this romantic? This is rape. They said, no, you don't understand. The way he treated her afterwards, of course he made a mistake. And then he said, wow, I never knew this how girls think. They didn't know. They thought girls were like them. Rape is rape and that's all. But they didn't know these simple things that girls look at things differently than they do. And the guy's like, we have to do this more. We have to do this more. We want to know how girls think. It has nothing to do with sex, putting boys and girls together. Yeah. But anytime you hear boys and girls are coming together, the topic has to be sex, or they are going to make it sex. Yeah. But it can be discovering how the other one thinks, discovering how the other one feels, discovering how the other one think about things, see things.
So why is the media then not touching on some of these things you mentioned about? Because there's a positive influence which the media can bring to our youth.
Yes, I think actually, if you go to every media constitution, they will tell you they want to have positive influence on society. But at the end of the day, it's all about what sells, and we all know negative news sells.
Yes. Gossip, rumors,
they sell fast. They sell fast, and also the thing about sex is that it's so easy to sell because all you have to do is just put one image there, and everybody's affected some way, somehow. Yeah. So because of that, it's like the easiest way to make profit, and the easiest way to get more readers, because you can have a good news program, a good channel, a good station, whatsoever. But if there are no viewers, and if the people that tune into your channel are not enough, at the end of the day you may go offline. So sex is easier way to make money.
It sells.
It sells.
It's a hot good.
Yeah.
Well, that said, let's look at what could be a positive influence the media could be having upon the youth. I know we just enumerated some of the negative impact.
Yes.
But what could be? You mentioned also that they could do in programs which help young people to discover one another. In a positive sense.
Yes.
So can you mention some other positive influences which the media could bring to bear upon our youth?
Yeah, I think I can do that. Actually, very recently I was speaking to a few young girls, and I was talking to them about programs that they watch. And I was actually surprised that their favorite program was a program called 16 and Pregnant from MTV. 16 and Pregnant.
I was going to mention MTV.
Yeah.
That's the channel for the youth.
Yes, exactly. But what was interesting about this program, 16 and Pregnant, they showed the struggle that 16 years will go through. And I find this program very interesting, very educative, because actually you see the struggle that they thought it would be all easy. They have their boyfriend, they are sweet 16, and they are going to have a baby. It means that they are grown up. But they were not well prepared. And you see the struggles they are going through, and the youngest that look like this, they're like, I never want to be 16 and pregnant. So that's we send forth a positive message out to that. It's not as easy as you people think it is. So be aware. So that is one way that the media can influence the youth to have how should I put matured vision of what sex is, and that's not only the pleasure of in and out, but also the pleasure of maintenance.
Absolutely. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Radio Voice of Niger. On our social segment, we're talking about the media's influence on the sexual behavior of today's West African migrants living in Amsterdam. If you're a young person out there, or even a parent, and you've been watching your ward, and you're beginning to wonder what's going on his or her life, well, this may be the problem. You are free to give us a call on 737-1619. 020-737-1619. Now, here in Amsterdam, where we are, let me, as a young man, how did the media focus on sex affect your academic performance and also that of your peers? Because you can tell us about your experience, because you have been among young people, and the exposure which media has given to sex, especially targeted at young people. Can you tell us how this has affected you and how you have come through, until now? Because I don't think you are married yet.
No, I'm not married yet.
Okay. And you've not raped anybody, I'm sure.
No. If I had, I'd probably be married now. Obliged. No, I'm not that.
So how did you keep yourself? Tell us about the influence of the media in this sense upon your peers, and how you managed to keep yourself intact, if you can say.
Yes, intact. Actually, I'll say that the thing about when I was at the age of 16, 17, those were times that you first start to discover things. I remember the first time a teacher put a picture of a naked woman in front of us. just to teach us something.
Yeah.
Wow.
We couldn't stop laughing
Really?
because he was like, "Come on, guys, grow up." We're like, "How can we grow up? You are putting a naked woman in front of us. You want us to grow up?" We didn't know what to do with it. So in the beginning, it was difficult. But some of the things that we were taught,
but
like
before that, you know, there was a certain mentality, a certain let's say perception about nakedness. You know, from Africa, we have, you know, there's a way we are raised up, you know, about nakedness and things like that. So I guess you probably had a bit of that too. So what was in your mind when why did you react the way you reacted when they put the picture on the board or whatever?
Well, I'll say at that time it was a pleasant surprise. I never thought at the age of 70 I'd get to have an opportunity to see a naked woman all that play. And so it was just up to that naked, and the whole point was that she was having condoms on the fingers. It means that to access you need protection. You know, it was all about educating us concerning the use of condom. And I remember they even gave us condom at that time. And I was holding mine, and the whole point was that you have to use it. And because I was raised up in a Christian family, I couldn't use it, so I have to throw it away and brag that I did use it.
Good.
So all of these young guys who are mostly, you know, particularly if we are Christian in that environment, you boast about things that you have never done just because you don't want to be like seen, you know, in a negative way, to be picked on. Because at the end of the day, those who lose their virginity young, those are the people that we call them advanced, civilized, or whatever positive name they give them.
Eyes are open.
Their eyes are open. And their eyes are open. And you know, and those that are virgins and remain so for good reasons, they can't give their reason because their reason will be just thrown out of the window like, you are so conservative. You are waiting for marriage. That's so 1900. We are now in 2000. So because of that, many young men lie about their sexuality.
Okay, so it means some people, even though they may not have the, you know,
yes, they will say they
pretend they have.
They pretend
just so that they won't be picked on or anything like that.
Yes, make no mistake. To be virgin is not cool.
It's not cool at all.
Oh, not now. We are trying to bring it back, but it's not easy. Maybe we should replay, you know, Madonna's track "Like a Virgin" or whatever to get the youth to think, because it's not cool at all at the moment. It's not cool at all. Yeah.
Wow. Now, but tell me about the effect on academic performance, because you have been around, you know, with other young people like you. How does this media exposure or attention on sex matters, has it affected academic performance?
On me personally, I should say, you know, because of my Christian uprising, and my mother was also very, very protective. So somehow it didn't affect me that much. But I've seen how it affected some of my colleagues.
Yes.
Who maybe, let's say at the age of 17, 16, you know, when they get a flow and they get into seeing women, and it's like, it's a new pleasure that they have found a new interest, you know, so because of that, it's like,
a new toy.
A new toy. They spend more time with that than the education. And so it's very sad to see that somebody who was very smart, doing well at school, sort of falling back just because he's engaged himself in all different sort of sexual activities.
Wow.
So
it has a strong impact on young people.
Yes, because it's not only physical, emotional
too.
Mentally, and this are all new. Something that young people, the moment you engage yourself into, you want to understand it. And to understand it, you have to like study it.
You have to study it.
And
try it out also.
And because it's not part of the courses we receive in school, you have to find a way to do it. Exactly. So, and it comes to a place you may even think that what you are learning in school is irrelevant because it has not to do with what you are going through. Yes, the biology classes is not sufficient enough.
You gotta do practicals in the lab.
Who cares about animal skin and all that when all your interest is women? Nobody wants to do biology anymore. So it's a sad thing.
Please give us a call on 02073711619. We have here praise the line. Give us a call. Oh my Jesus, this guy is interesting. Our topic this morning is The influence of the media on the sexual behavior of our young people, especially young people of West African origin. If you have an input, give us your input. Sorry about the music, the track is not good. So if you have an input, please give us a call. If you have a question for Prince, well, you better give the call right now. Oh, the line was blocked.
Oh, the line.
Sorry, the line was closed, so if you want to call now, go ahead. And if you have a question for us, please bring your call immediately. In the meantime, enjoy this music.